It's very interesting when the Xbox One released, there was a lot of hate towards the Xbox One. And I was one of the people that was out there saying, hey, they don't really deserve all this hate. The Xbox One clearly was, going to face some issues and things because Microsoft was literally trying to take away some rights to gamers and things. But, when it comes down to it, they reversed course, and of course now they're actually doing the things that they got a lot of heat for back in the day, which is kind of ironic to me because nobody seems to be talking about that stuff at all. But when it comes down to it, the media really started to back Xbox partway through that generation. I can remember a lot of companies, the IGNs, the Eurogamers, all these kind of things really kind of came to defend Xbox later on, especially like when the Xbox One X came out. They were winning all the face-offs with like the true 4K and all that kind of stuff. They were doing things like backwards compatibility, a lot of things that people were asking for. They seemed very consumer friendly, and things were going really good. And to start off this generation, I think the media was firmly backing Xbox yet again, which is interesting, and that's fine. I was a little bit disappointed that they weren't launching with a better lineup, and I thought that could impact them, and it really kind of did, because when you launch in 2020 and you have nothing, and then in 2022 you also had nothing, that's a long kind of drought there with no first party big AAA exclusives, and people are going to notice that. So it's kind of a bummer. But when it comes down to what's happening now, like, the media is firmly being honest. I don't think they're hating on Xbox. I think they're just more or less being honest about Xbox, and that's something that's not making Xbox look good either. So it's kind of crazy to see this happening. But like one of the places that always seems to give Xbox positive stuff is Polygon, and they were talking about Xbox's 2025, and it says the byline is Xbox's 2025 was pure chaos. The brand is in tatters. The console on life support. But I admit their first party released some games, but if they were a publisher, you would say, yeah, that's good. But the fact that they have hardware is, kind of a, it's really kind of hard to really think that that's in a good place right now. And I defy anybody to prove to me that their hardware is in a good spot right now. So where do you even begin Microsoft's stewardship of its increasingly vast gaming empire, which includes Xbox consoles, Game Pass subscription, and not one but three massive publishers, had another infuriating, baffling year. The tech giant pursued a gaming strategy that continues to tear up industry norms while looking visionaries from some angles and idiotic from others. Its acquisition spree finally started to bear fruit, with a good number of new games at the same time as management instituted a destructive, profit-hungry cash grab that threatened to destroy fan goodwill for good. Amid all this furor, the future of Xbox consoles have never looked shakier. It is, was, and is a lot. This was the year of Microsoft brought Forza and Gears of War to PlayStation and finally broke the ultimate taboo and said it would soon do the same for Halo. This was the year it said Xbox would be a PC, and an expensive one. This was the year it released a $1,000 handheld it got another company to make. This was the year it closed a AAA studio that never released a game. Two strategic imperatives loom large behind all this chaos. The first is very public, large in everything Microsoft is doing and its executives are saying, and although it can be unpopular, it is motivated to do so. It's driven to make lots of games and put them anywhere they can be played, on the cloud, on Steam, on rival consoles, on your phone. This is an Xbox, even if it's a PlayStation. Fans bristled, but the numbers didn't exactly back up what they were saying. Forza 5 was a hit on PlayStation, and a whole new community kind of grabbed access to it, but games like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Gears of War Reloaded followed but weren't big hits. The strategic imperative, which intersects with the first but isn't necessarily only motivated for it, is more secretive and nefarious. In October, Bloomberg revealed that Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood insisted on the gaming division profit hit at least 30%, a figure that all is unprecedented in the gaming industry, but is likely unachievable. Even though Microsoft kind of tried to debunk it, they didn't really say that. They admitted that they have high standards. The target is surely what was behind the waves of layoffs that culminated in the cancellation of Rare's Everwild and the Perfect Dark reboot, which also spelled doom for the latter developer, The Initiative, a studio that was founded in 2018 and never got a chance to finish a game. It presumably motivated the hastily revoked decision to sell Outer Worlds 2 for $80. It's surely why Game Pass saw an eye-watering 50% price increase together with another confusing and arguably mean-spirited restructuring of its offering. It's got to be one reason Xbox console saw 2 price increases in 6 months, which have resulted in the top model of Xbox Series X hitting $800. To be fair, there's other factors that work behind these dismaying developments, and only one of them is Microsoft's historically wasteful mismanagement of game developers. So yeah, we've got to kind of look at how they're kind of doing that. The AI data center explosion, in which Microsoft is an enthusiastic participant, but the 30% margin or maybe more target must have an outsized influence. Let's be clear, a healthy creative industry can and should be run to make money as well as great art, but bad targets lead to bad decisions and disastrous outcomes. And I think that's the big part that people miss at, right? Like, people just assume that Microsoft's going to do this or do that, and when it comes down to it, when you have to hit certain targets, no matter what it is, it could be 25%, it could be 28%, it could be 32%. But when you're forced to hit targets like that, you do kind of just leave a lot on the table, and you're just chasing after hits. Under this relentless pressure to engage more players and make more money, Microsoft seems to have decided that it doesn't want to achieve either of these goals by selling game consoles. The price hikes and the effective end of console exclusives demonstrate that Microsoft has abandoned all hope of rescuing Xbox Series X and S, both great machines, by the way, perhaps Microsoft's best, from a distant and horrible third place in the current-gen race. This year, amid spiraling fears that it was about to exit the console business for good, Microsoft was forced to declare multiple times that it would be back, but back with what? In both leaks and public comments from Xbox boss Sarah Bond, it seems apparent that the next Xbox will be Windows-based, will run rival. You also have to run rival, stores and things like that, which Steam's, and will be very premium, quote unquote, which means very pricey. It's a gaming PC, in other words, perhaps even more of one than the upcoming Steam machine. It could be very powerful and flexible gaming machine, but it doesn't sound like it'll be the mass market product. Make no mistake, this is a retreat from direct competition with Sony and Nintendo. And this is the thing that I always point out. If everybody else can see it, why is there always some random people that refuse to admit what's going on? Another worry for Xbox fans is that it might not be very good. That was unfortunately his conclusion from using the ROG Ally, a joint initiative between Microsoft and PC handheld manufacturer Asus that acted as a kind of soft launch for Xbox Windows-based future. In either its $600 or $1,000 version, the Xbox Ally is an overpriced, mediocre PC handheld which offers compatibility across your libraries on PC, but is also sadly burdened with all the inelegance, unreliability, and painful lack of cool that comes with Windows. It's no Steam Deck, in other words. Here's hoping the version of this experience made by Xbox's excellent in-house engineers will do better, because it really needs to be. It's a shame that all this calamity and confusion obscures the fact that 2025 was Microsoft's best year as a game publisher in a while. There was no defining massive title, not after 2025's intended Xbox tentpole Fable was delayed in the next year, but that was the point. The year showed the sheer range of capability of Microsoft and what they're available to release. Blizzard had no releases, Bethesda and Activision just had a couple each, but the expanded Xbox Studios group finally came into its own, especially Obsidian, which released no less than 3 games. The full lineup is pretty interesting. You have Avowed, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Doom the Dark Ages, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Gears of War Reloaded, Grounded 2, Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, South of Midnight, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, plus smaller releases like Towerborn, and some of those other ones. So yeah, I mean, listen, I think that it was a really big year for their first party lineup, but I agree. I don't think there was anything like earth shattering in there. And it's unfortunate that most of those games kind of fell on deaf ears. You can criticize the lineup, and this is pretty much what I'm saying, for lacking any truly standout releases, or you can celebrate it for it's supplied a varied, interesting, accomplished, and decent games. Ninja Gaiden 4, that's not my type of game, you know what I mean? To me, it's not. Keeper South of Midnight are artful expressions of storytelling style. They're kind of old school. I haven't played Keeper. I thought South of Midnight was okay. It's also worth noting that, a lot of people were claiming Claire Obscure just because it was in Game Pass day one. There's also a lot of interesting things because it was, we saw Call of Duty fail a little bit. And we'll see what they do next year. I think they've kind of stumbled along the way, and with GTA 6, it could be telling to see what's going to happen. But I guess we'll wait and see. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about this past year? What do you guys feel about the prospects of the future? And what do you guys think about the hardware? I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.